Hey guys, welcome to another video. My name is Ian, I'm Ian the Reader, and today I'm talking 2021 results and 2022 goals. I'm excited. I hope you are too. Maybe I'm the only one who's excited about this, but it's always nice to reflect upon your previous year, see what you accomplished, see what you wish you'd accomplished, and then kind of, just plan for the year to come. I feel like that's pretty natural for human beings to do that when the new year comes around. But I'm excited just to kind of share that with you guys a little bit this time because I've never really had a platform to talk about my reading as much. I did a little bit on my Instagram account, my Bookstagram, where I do book reviews and things, but this is a little bit more of a deep dive into my results from last year and my goals for next year and things like that, and I think it's just gonna be really fun. Before we get into all that though, let's talk tea. I am really into tea lately. My mug today just has some nice cats doing a yoga pose, and I am drinking, what is this? I think it's orange spice. I got it at Target, and it's delightful. It's decaf, which is good because it's 9:30 in the evening and I have to work tomorrow morning, so decaf it is for me today. It's delightful. But like I said, in this video, I'm going to be digging into some results and stats from 2021. Not a crazy amount. Some booktubers have tons of pie charts and things like that, and I only have 2 pie charts, so calm down. But in addition to that, I'm also going to dig into some of the results I got from my Goodreads recap page thingy, my bobber that they do every year. And then in the second part of this video, I'm going to go ahead and set some goals for myself in regard to my reading, but also in regard to my channel activity, just because I want to kind of set some goals for myself to reach. That way I'm holding myself accountable to continuing to post videos frequently and things like that. So in the year 2021, I completed a total of 115 books, which is kind of crazy, to be honest, for 2 reasons. One, that is my best reading year ever. In 2020, I had my previous best reading year ever. I finished 105 books, and I told myself, that's it. I'm never going to try to read 100 books again. I'm not going to do it. I'm not even going to set a reading goal for 2021, which brings me to my second reason why that's crazy. I didn't set a reading goal for 2021. I was just going to read whatever I wanted at whatever speed I wanted, and I just so happened to read 115 books. So I guess I just do well not under pressure. So there you go. According to Goodreads, I apparently, across my 115 books, read 47,263 pages, which I didn't because, let's be honest, most of the books that I consumed were in the form of audiobooks, just because I'm really big on audiobooks. I did definitely read some books physically and some ebooks, but I'm big into audiobooks. It's how I get most of my reading done, whatever. That means, though, that my average page count was 410 pages, which is up 30-ish pages from 2020, which means that I consumed quite a few long books, which, to be honest, I blame Robin Hobb pretty much exclusively because I read 15 of her books and they are all 700 plus pages or something like that. So thanks, Robin Hobb. Now let's go ahead and jump into a few of my stats for the year beyond that. Here are some images for you, some graphics, if you will. Alrighty, folks, so here we have a breakdown of the different genres that I read in 2021. So clearly fantasy was at the top, which is no surprise, courtesy of Robin Hobb and so many other fantastic books that I read. I did read 36 fantasy books in 2021, which is almost a third of the books that I read. After that, it's mystery and thriller, which is 13.9%. However, if you were to combine literary and contemporary books together, which I always am a little bit confused, honestly, on what is what in regard to those, it would be about the same. It would be 16 of each. After those, horror seems to be my biggest genre, which I read 12 of. Most of those were Stephen King, but not all of them. I did read some Grady Hendrix and a little bit of Joe Hill and stuff like that. I wish that I had read more nonfiction. It looks like I only had 2 of those and only 2 short story collections, which is interesting because at the start of the year, I thought about reading 1 short story collection per month, but that clearly didn't happen. And then in addition to that, I did only read 1 graphic novel. I'd like to maybe read some more of those. Like I said, mostly it was fantasy, which is totally fine because fantasy is the best. I did only read 6 sci-fi as well, which was kind of shocking to me. I would like to read more science fiction in 2022, and I have some series I'd like to start in the science fiction genre in 2022, so I do see that happening. However, yeah, fantasy is probably still going to be on top. And then the only other graphic that I made didn't really turn out the way that I wanted to, but you get the idea. So this is a breakdown of my star ratings for 2021. I had not a bad year, honestly. I think it was a pretty good year. Most of the books I read were from 3.5 stars to 4 stars, in my opinion. However, I did have a pretty good amount of 5 stars. I had 16, which a lot of those were Robin Hobb, but not all of them. I had some other ones, clearly. And then I had 12 4.5s, which are really good. Honestly, anything like 4 to 5 star, I think, is a really good book. 3.5 is good, 3 is okay, and 2.5 to 1 I clearly didn't enjoy. But I only had one 1-star book, which is dope, and 2 1.5 star books, and quite a few in the middle. But either way, I think it was a pretty good reading year overall. I'm pretty happy with this result. And then I also did the math on this, and my average rating per book was 3.85. So I think that's pretty good. So if you want to go ahead and see my favorite books of the year, I have already made those videos, so I'll go ahead and link those down below. I did an honorable mentions video, I did a top 10 video, and I also did like a most disappointing books of the year as well. So I'll link those videos down below if you're interested in watching those to get a little bit more of a recap into the actual books that I read in 2021. I also did just want to briefly touch on where my channel kind of stands at the end of 2021. That way, at the end of 2022, I can kind of mark my growth and enjoy that for myself, I guess. So at the end of 2021, I had started my channel at the very end of September, by the way. So like my first video ever was my September wrap up, and I think I posted it on like September 27th or 28th or something like that. So I've only been around for like 3 months. But at the end of 2021, I had 192 subscribers and I had uploaded 34 videos, which is not bad for 3 months, so I'll take that. But anyway, that concludes my wrap up of 2021's reading and channel results. Now let's go ahead and jump into part 2 of the video, which is my 2022 goals. So like I said, this comes in 2 parts. The first of those is my reading goals. The first of my 5 reading goals for 2022 is to not have a number goal, which I did in 2021 and it worked out pretty well for me. That being said, this year is even more so for a couple reasons. One, I'm gonna be extra busy this year. I am about to start a new job. I'm about to start grad school, and I have 2 kids now instead of 1, like I did at the start of 2021. So I don't expect myself to read as much as I did last year. And in addition to that, I am making a point of physically reading more books rather than doing mostly audiobooks and some ebooks. I just want the feeling of reading a physical book and really connecting with it and committing my time and attention to it rather than being distracted by notifications on my phone or doing something else while I listen to an audiobook. I'll still be doing all 3 formats, but I'm going to try to physically read more books, which does take me a little bit more time. I mentioned this already in my January TBR though, that I really don't care how many books I read in 2022. If I read 30, I'm happy as long as they're great books. If I read 100, I'm happy as long as they're great books. I just want to read books that I love. That's my goal. Second goal for 2022 in regard to my reading is to read 6 classic books. Now, I already talked about this in my Classics TBR for 2022. So with that, those are the 6 classics I would like to read. All of them are very long though, and some of them are pretty dense. And so for that, I would like to read 6 classics regardless of how many of those 6 specifically I actually end up finishing. I would like those to be the 6. But if I'm getting close to the end of the year and I still have like 4 of those gigantic books, then I'm fine with substituting in some shorter classics. There are definitely some short classics that I really do want to read as well. These are just 6 books that I have put off reading and I really want to get to in 2022. So I'll go ahead and link that video down below as well if you're interested in seeing these 6 classic books I'm planning on reading in 2022. The only other genre that I specifically want to read more of in 2022 is nonfiction. So as you saw in my genre recap statistic graph thing, for 2021, I really didn't read a lot of nonfiction at all. Of 115 books, I only read 2 nonfiction, which is pretty standard for me, to be honest. I really just don't gravitate towards it in the past. That being said, I want to change that. 1, because there are nonfiction books that I've been hearing about that really do interest me, and 2, I just want to push myself and challenge myself to step out of my comfort zone a little bit, and I feel like nonfiction is an area, 1, that will provide a lot of like knowledge and wisdom and growth for me as an individual, and then in addition to that, it's just something that will help me to grow as a reader in addition to, just as a person. So I'm excited about that. I am planning on making a nonfiction, not necessarily like TBR for 2022, but really just a video talking about the nonfiction books that have really piqued my interest and that I'm interested in reading at some point. And I'll definitely be looking for recommendations on some nonfiction titles in the near future. The 4th reading goal that I have for myself is to lower my physical TBR. I'm not sure how many books are on my physical TBR, but I'm gonna go ahead and put that up right here once I've counted it. It's a lot. The last time I counted, it was like probably 150 or something like that. I don't know if it's gone higher or lower because I have unhauled some books, but I've also obviously hauled a lot of books. So I'll go ahead and put that number right here to embarrass me, but also hold me accountable. So the fourth goal, like I said, for 2022 is to lower my physical TBR, whether that's through reading books that I own, which is my goal because I'm trying to buy less books and just read the crap that I own because it's interesting, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't have bought it, or through me unhauling books that I'm just not drawn to anymore. The goal is to lower that number by the end of the year. And my fifth and final reading goal is to read these 5 books that are the top books that I absolutely want to read in 2022. I have made 2 other videos talking about different series that I either want to continue or finish in 2022 or start in 2022, but these are the 5 books that I desperately want to read this year. The first of those is The Stand by Stephen King. Stephen King is one of my absolute favorite authors. I talk about him all the time. I even have like a video that I made early on in my booktube days, like 3 months ago, not like early on, talking about like my recommendations for 5 starting points for Stephen King, but I have not read The Stand by Mr. King, and so this is the year. It's time to read The Stand. So I'm very excited about it. I think it's obviously going to be one of my favorite Stephen King books, and I'm going to love it. So this is the year. It's going to happen. The second book I absolutely want to read in 2022 is one that was on my classics TBR, and that is The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas, or however you say his name. I'm dumb, I'm sorry. But this is a classic that I've heard nothing but incredible things about. It's a chunker, but I've heard it's actually more accessible than I'm giving it credit for. So here's hoping. The third book that I absolutely want to get to in 2022 was in my series to start this year, and that is Malice, or the first book in The Faithful and the Fallen by John Gwynne. I loved The Shadow of the Gods when I read it last year, and I'm so excited to finally read this, especially because I was supposed to read it last year with some family members of mine, so haha, finally gonna get to it. The fourth book that I definitely want to read this year is one that I've already started, and that is The Pillars of the Earth. This is one that has been featured in a lot of videos of mine, like a lot of different TBRs, and it's been like on my yearly like have to read TBR for the past like 3 years, and this is the year. I finally started it. I'm like 120 pages in, and I'm adoring this. And the last book that I absolutely need to read this year is one that has also been on my yearly TBR for the past like 2 or 3 years, and that is The Little Friend by Donna Tartt. I love Donna Tartt. I read The Secret History and The Goldfinch back in 2019, and they were both 5-star reads for me, and so I've been telling myself I was gonna read this book since then, and I keep putting it off. This is the year. But those are my 5 reading goals for myself. Now let's jump into my 3 channel goals for 2022. The first of those is one that's really arbitrary because like honestly, like I know it doesn't matter how many subscribers I have, but I would like to just continue to see some growth and have more interaction with people and meet so many more wonderful people through this platform. And so right now, like I said, I actually just hit 200 subscribers, so thank you guys so much for subscribing, those of you who have already, and if you haven't, totally subscribe, you won't want to miss out. But anyway, my goal for 2022 is to hit 1,000 subscribers. I think this is pretty reachable. Maybe, hopefully. Like I said, I just started like at the end of September, early October, and I have 200 subscribers, so hopefully over the next 12 months, I can gain another 800 of you. That'd be really nice, but it doesn't really matter all that much. I'm having a good time regardless. My second channel goal is in regard to how often I am posting. So, like I've been doing, I post every Tuesday and every Friday, and sometimes on additional days throughout the week, and so with that, I should post 104 videos in 2022 if I stick to just Tuesdays and Fridays. Now, like I said, I have a lot going on this year because I am starting a new job in a new career field, and I am starting my grad school program, and so there's a lot going on, and I do have 2 kids and a wife, and you know, I'm a busy person, but I love doing this. I love posting videos. I love talking to you guys about books and just really like gushing over books that I love and things like that and discovering new books. And so my goal for 2022 is to make 125 videos. So like I said, 104 would be twice a week. So 125 is like more than that, obviously, but not like 3 a week consistently. So 125, I hope, is a reachable goal. That's what I'm gonna try to aim for. And the third and final goal that I have for my channel in 2022 is to host my first channel read-along. I don't know what book or what series necessarily, or what time frame. I'm thinking maybe in the summer, either summer or like maybe like near the end of the year, to be honest, for a channel read-along. But I'm not really sure what book to do. Part of me wants to do like one of the books that I'm definitely wanting to read in 2022. I'm thinking about maybe trying to do The Stand, if people are interested in doing a read-along for that. Or, I know a lot of people, especially the ones I interact with, have already read this series, but if any of you want to do a read-along of Faithful and the Fallen, maybe do that, or maybe The Ember Blade by Chris Wooding. I'm thinking about maybe that one as well. I'm not really sure, but I'd like to host my first ever read-along, maybe even co-host it with somebody. It's something that I think would be really fun, and I think I'd have a really great time doing it and meeting new people and talking about books that we could all love together. But anyway, that is the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed hearing about my 2021 results and hearing about my plans for 2022. I think it's gonna be a great year. I'm so excited to be making YouTube videos in 2022 and interacting with so many wonderful people. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and all that jazz, because like I've mentioned, I post every Tuesday and Friday and some other times as well, so you don't wanna miss out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!